നന്മയാകുന്ന കാന്തി കാണുവാൻ കണ്ണിലാകണമേ. നല്ല വാക്കിൻ്റെ ശീലു ചൊല്ലുവാൻ നാവിലാകണമേ. സ്നേഹമാകുന്ന ഗീതമോ എൻ്റെ കാതിലളിയണമേ. സത്യമെന്നുള്ള ശീലമോടെ ഞാൻ ശാന്തി അറിയണമേ.
Okay, thank you. Now let us start the session with a welcome speech by Dr. Lata Ramakrishnan, who is the Vice President of Kerala Library Association.
Thank you. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes. Sure.
Okay, thank you. Respected Chair, Dr. K. Vijay Kumar.
Can others mute? Can others please mute?
Pardon?
Okay, shall I?
Yeah, please.
Respected Chair, Dr. K.P. Vijay Kumar, President, Kerala Library Association, Chief Guest of the Day, Dr. M.G. Sreekumar, KLA General Secretary, Dr. P.K. Suresh Kumar, and all my dear friends, a very good evening to you all. I have great pleasure in welcoming you all to the flagship, the prestigious program of Kerala Library Association, namely Professor Isaac Commemoration Lecture. It is, as you all know, our tribute to a great personality who literally laid the foundation for library and information science education and services in Kerala. In a way, he was a celebrated leader of library profession in our state. All the librarians, past and present, should be thankful to Professor Isaac, for it was he who took upon himself the task of producing a new generation of librarians with the required technical knowledge and professional attitude. It will not be an exaggeration if I say that Professor Isaac's motivation and leadership was such that his students were, by and large, accepted everywhere as persons of both caliber and character. Many of us who are present here have had the good fortune of getting acquainted with him in one way or other. It is really hard to believe that Professor K. Isaac is no more with us physically, and that it has been 15 long years since that fateful day in September in 2005. He was the founder president of KLA and was also our patron. Due to the pandemic, this 15th commemoration lecture is being held on online platform, and as of now, I am very happy to say as many as 59 persons present. Our chief guest today is Dr. M.G. Sreekumar, who needs no special introduction to the library community. Still, formality demands a proper introduction. Dr. Sreekumar is a Chief Librarian and Information Officer of Indian Institute of Management, Kozhikode, and an Adjunct Professor in Humanities and Liberal Arts in Management. If I were to mention the accolades that he has received or the wide international recognition Dr. Sreekumar enjoys, well, that itself will be a matter for a 1-hour speech. On top of it all, he's a globetrotter, and he has a rare distinction of leading the team at IIMK to bag the first Wiley Award 2016 for IIM Kozhikode and the Elsevier Award 2018. Very innovative in his ideas and perfect in implementation. That is Dr. Sreekumar for you. and the Indian Business Museum at IIMK and the spectacular ISRO gallery are just a few examples. I understand that he will be soon taking up an important assignment and will be leaving this state soon. We are indeed fortunate to have him with us today to deliver the Professor Isaac Commemoration Lecture on a very relevant topic, Conceptualizing and Designing 21st Century Libraries. Incidentally, I had come across a remark from possibly a library science student about what is the real benefit for a library student participating in this. I am sure by the end of this lecture, Dr. Sreekumar, a very experienced librarian, will definitely make it clear why it is important for us librarians to change with the times and be prepared. On behalf of Kerala Library Association and on my own behalf, I extend a very warm welcome to you, Dr. Sreekumar.
Thanks very much, ma'am.
Needless to say, our ever-energetic President, Dr. K.P. Vijaykumar, is the brain behind organizing this program, and a warm welcome to you, sir, for your lively presence.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I take this opportunity to extend a warm welcome to KLA's dynamic secretary, Dr. P.K. Suresh Kumar. And also the ever dear Chechama Isaac, who, with her son Dr. Kurian, has never missed this annual lecture held in commemoration of her husband, Professor Isaac. Virtual hugs and welcome to you, ma'am, and a warm welcome to one and all. I hope we will have a very informative and enjoyable. I welcome you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lalita, for the crisp presentation. Usually, in Kerala, it is customary to have the longest welcome speech, but apart from that, you are very crisp, and thank you for that.
Thank you.
Now, according to the schedule, it is the presidential address. Of course, the presidential, as president, I should be as brief as possible. First of all, our chief guest, Dr. M.G. Sreekumar, Mrs. Chechama Isaac, Professor Kurian Isaac, our dynamic secretary, P.K. Suresh Kumar, members of the executive committee of KLA, and my professional colleagues and friends. That is the only way I can address, because I don't know. I'm not sure who else are presenting. I can see a very few names in the screen, but that apart, I warmly welcome all of you to this function. Though this is the 15th commemoration lecture in the name of Professor K. Isaac, it is for the first time that it is held at the Pan Kerala. I'm not sure. It can be Pan India sometimes. I'm not sure. Level for the first time. The context is quite clear. I need not elaborate. It is a blessing in disguise, I should say, because we are able to organize it at a wider level. People from all parts of the state or elsewhere can participate in. Otherwise, for the last 14 years, it was more or less confined to Trivandrum, and only those who belong to Trivandrum were able to be present. So that's why I said it is a blessing in disguise. Professor Isaac, as all of you know, as was presented here, he was the Dean of library profession in the country. He laid the foundation of scientific librarianship in the state. Libraries were there even before that, but scientific librarianship, he laid the foundation, as well as the library science education in Kerala. While serving as the university librarian, he started the Department of Library Science. At that time, it was named as Department of Library Science in 1961 as one of the first departments of the university. 61, yes, 61. As one of the first academic departments of the University of Kerala. I deem it a privilege to be a student of Professor Isaac. He was professor and had, when I was studying for the B.Libacy program, at that time it was B.Libacy program, and I was fortunate enough to be trained by him again for MLIC in 1983. And say, it's a matter of prestige for me, because whenever I go outside, the elders used to ask me, "Oh, so you are a student of Professor Isaac." I use the term elders because the newer generation may not be aware of him. They might have heard about him, but may not be familiar with him. So the elders used to, so you are from University of Kerala, and therefore the student of Professor Isaac. I very well remember as back as 1985, if I remember correctly, I attended a Commonwealth Scholarship interview in New Delhi, and Professor Mangla was the subject expert. The first question he asked was, "Oh, so you are the student of Professor Isaac. How is he?" And that was the first question. So that is the same wherever you go, whichever university you go outside the state, this is the inquiry that people used to make. And whenever I used to take classes on, say, the soft skills that librarians need to have, because there is so much demand for personality development and soft skill development among librarians, and many of the academic staff colleges request me to take sessions to engage the participants on soft skills. Say, one of the qualities of soft skills, or one of the part of soft skills, is social grace. Whenever I utter the word social grace, the image that comes to my mind is that of Professor Isaac. Social grace has got different meanings. Grace means the graceful figure, the first thing, and then comes the social grace, the change that his appearance makes in you. I've seen, or I had the good fortune to witness some of the doyens or the stalwarts in the profession, like Professor Kaula, then Professor Sardana, Professor Mangla, and Professor Karisuddappa, and perhaps they have got, they are very good personalities, but you are carried away by their imposing personality. Imposing personality means where they are big figure, huge figure. But when you come across Professor Isaac, you know that awe, the respect in you will come up. That is what is meant by social grace. Then, of course, I need not, it is presumptuous on my part to elaborate, because all of us are here to commemorate his presence. Presence means virtual presence, I should say. And he used to have good memories about his classes. Always he used to quote Ranganathan. One thing that comes to my mind, which he always quote, is the words of Dr. Ranganathan, that of work chastity. He used to repeat it very often, work chastity. That is the devotion to work. That is what is expected of library professionals. And he was true to the profession, and he expects others also to be true to the profession, that is devoted to your work. And prior to that, you know, this is the 15th in the series, and during the previous occasions, stalwarts from all over the country have delivered the lectures. And the earlier speakers were, first lecture was delivered in 1985 itself by Dr. Babu Paul, and the second one was by Professor K.S. Raghavan, the third one by Professor Amudavelli. Then this was followed by Professor Karisuddappa, Dr. Jagadish Arora, who was the director of InFilmNet, then Professor Ramesha of Bangalore University, Professor N. Ravi of Tamil Nadu Central University, then Dr. I.R.N. Gowder, then Dr. Kaiser Khan, and Dr. V. Gopal of Goa University. They were some of the previous speakers, and now it is the turn of Dr. M.G. Sreekumar. I am extremely happy that he happened to be a product of our department, who has emerged as a global personality, a global librarian, I should say. It was mentioned here that he is about to leave our state because he was selected to, I don't know the exact designation. I think it is the Director of Libraries of Geo University. Geo University is so famous. Even at the time of announcement, it has become so famous in 2018. And it is sponsored by the Reliance Group, Ambani's, and that is supposed to be, or it is tipped to be, one of the most prominent universities. And whenever I read about, it, the university in I think 2018, the immediate memory that came to my mind was that of Swati Tirunal. Swati Tirunal, perhaps you might have heard, was designated as Garbha Shriman. Garbha Shriman means he is adjudged as the king the day he was conceived. Okay. He was born in 1813, and then till 1929, it was by his mother, not mother, but it was the younger sister. Happened to be his mother died in 1815, and then as Regent Maharani, the younger sister of his mother was. So similarly, why I talked of Swati Tirunal was that even though the university, that is Geo University, came into existence in 2018, that was adjudged as an institution of eminence. A university which has not, which was a virtual university at that time, which has not come into existence, was adjudged by the MHRD as an institution of eminence. There was widespread criticism, and that is why that memory still lingers in my mind. So that is Reliance or Ambani has announced that it is going to be one of the most prestigious universities, and that is going to function. They are thinking of starting the course in 2021, and within a short span of time, their avowed decision is to make it one of the top 500 universities at the global level by the Times Higher Education and Quackerly-Simmons rankings. And it is really a privilege for Dr. Sreekumar to accept the invitation. And in fact, I was told that he was interviewed by a global panel of experts from Stanford University, California University, and many other world ranking universities. And it makes us really proud. It makes us really proud to appreciate him, and that he was selected, even though it was a stiff contest. I don't want to elaborate. Today, as was mentioned here, the topic he is going to deliver is conceptualizing and designing libraries for the 21st century. Of course, he is the most apt person. As was mentioned here, he was a globetrotter. He had the good fortune to see what is taking place elsewhere. And all of us are aware of the fact that libraries have long been endless sources of information. But their preeminent position is losing because of so many developments that are taking place. The first change is in the information landscape. So many changes are taking place. What is meant by the change in the information landscape? That is production of more information, mostly directed to the users, directly directed to the users. Then there is also the rapid growth of user-centered information. You need not expect, because users themselves are in a position to exchange the information from different places. And then emergence of new technologies. There are both constructive technologies and destructive technologies. I am not elaborating them. Many of the constructive technologies have turned out to be destructive technologies. A typical example is the mobile phone. It is a constructive technology in many ways, but at the same time, it has decimated. It blocked many of the earlier inventions. So these technologies have come in on a long way in the smooth functioning of libraries, and then the changes in the social interaction. As I have already mentioned, people started contacting each other, interacting with each other directly. Social networks play a major role, and then the changes taking place in the workplace. The dwindling budgets of libraries and many other things are there. I don't want to elaborate since all of you are professionals in the field. I don't want to elaborate all these things. But in spite of the prophecies of doom by many people, right from the beginning of this century, that there was a book, End of Libraries. And many people prophesied the death knell of libraries, but still they survived against all odds. And they used to make use of, they started making use of different techniques, maker spaces, for example. And in fact, the emergence of e-resources have turned out to be a boon to the libraries because they could shell out more space for people to be interactive. They began to provide spaces and other things. I hope Dr. Sreekumar will be dealing with them at length with typical examples. A year back, I had the occasion to make a case study. Case study means not going there, by literature, about the changes the University Library of Chicago University has enacted. And it was a drastic change in the entire setup. Thereby, the librarian was commenting that they established a Center for Digital Scholarship as part of the Chicago University Library. Center for Digital Scholarship. That means the entire campus, faculty members, students, research scholars can make use of the facilities made available there. And now it throbs. That has become the centerpiece of campus. That is what the librarian writes. Several such changes are taking place. When you go to the history of different libraries, you can come across. I hope I don't want to prolong. And we are really fortunate to have Dr. Sreekumar with us, because he is in a better position to deal with the topic, that is conceptualizing and designing libraries for the future, that is for the 21st century. With these words, I invite Dr. Sreekumar to start his presentation. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. So respected Chair and President KLA Professor KP Vijay Kumar, respected Dr. Lalita, the General Secretary Dr. Suresh Kumar, all the office bearers of Kerala Library Association, members of the Kerala Library Association, Dr. Kurian Isaac, Madam Chechama Isaac, all my fellow colleagues, my respected teachers. I'm deeply humbled and privileged to be able to address you today on the 15th Professor K. Isaac Commemoration Lecture, founded by Kerala Library Association. My heartfelt tribute to the Bhishma Mahapita of librarianship, library science education in the country and in Kerala in specific, Professor K. Isaac. My association with Professor Isaac was not very in close contacts, because by the time I reached, I came to the University of Kerala for my library science education. It was 1987, and by then sir has already relinquished his position there. That's what I understand. And but I used to see him as a student of mathematics in the University College during my graduation days in 77 to 1980. So we used to always walk around the library, I used to see the board and the person. Interesting charisma, a kind of a halo I could see always. I think one occasion he was asking me some question, something related to, because he used to find me always in the Malayalam section. I used to read a lot of Malayalam. But that was a very chance event. I don't remember much we had interaction. But once later, I think during 2001 or 2 or 3, when I was in Trivandrum, we were having a lecture, and at that time, sir was sitting in the audience, and he asked me a lot of questions, especially the latest developments and what else. What are the things that at IIM Kozhikode we are implementing? And he was very curious to know all these things. That was my on interaction, I will say, and I really cherish that. I think so much has been said about Isaac sir. Isaac sir is actually a living legend in Kerala, in India, in the field of library science or in librarianship. So he was a doyen and stalwart, and has distinguished himself by his enormous selfless service and academic scholarship, and also the administrative acumen what he was possessing. Very simple, down-to-earth, soft-spoken personality. You can, because I find even those days when I was a student, I used to see him as a very nice person. A person that I think we should all emulate when we reach such positions is very, very important. So his contribution in the field of education, in the field of librarianship, in the field of public library legislation, all these are well known to all of us. And he was awarded, he was recognized by state, national, international bodies, especially the Rajaram Mohan Roy Foundation fellowship, and all these things are known to all of us. I really appreciate, I congratulate the Kerala Library Association for this very interesting endeavor to install this commemoration lecture, because this gives our new generation of librarians kind of an aspiration that we should all be contributing to the profession and also to the field of knowledge, so that the profession thrives and continues. So once again, my heartfelt tributes to Professor Isaac for this opportunity, and I join all of you, especially his family members, in commemorating his contributions and his dedications and recognizing. Thank you. Sir, Vijay sir, I am happy that you didn't appear for the interview. Otherwise, you would have been selected, I am sure. Because the way you were presenting those terms, the scholarship, the spaces, the maker spaces, all these things were what I was trying to make, bring to the interview committee.
Thank you for the compliment.
So as you said, I have accepted the offer that to Director of Libraries at the Geo University, and I am planning to join there by the 4th week of January 2021. I have already given my purpose here, and since it is under process, I thought I'll just keep it in low profile. So the topic what I am discussing today is conceptualizing and designing the 21st century libraries, and there are certain things what I would like to set the scene is that this is centering around a university library, a world-class university library, a world-class research library in a university. So I think today what I will focus will be the characteristics of a world-class university, the academic resources and IT systems and strategy, what we should envisage for a university system, the changing world of libraries, what should be its, reimagine the mission and vision, etc. and the kind of strategies, systems, and workflows and services that we used to put in place in libraries, the business processes as well as the user experience endeavors. And the kind of digital transformation that is taking place, as you rightly mentioned, the kind of digital transformation that is happening in the world, and so also in the field of publishing, and definitely reflected in library services, and then the collection services and strategies according to this transformation, and then the role of digital libraries coming as business processes, what we do for the benefit of user experience. And
Dr. Sreekumar, can you enlarge the screen? Your screen is in the corner. It's visible only in the corner.
My God.
Sir, others can pin a screen. That is possible.
Okay.
Yeah, Vijaykumar sir, if you pin that screen.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you see, sir?
Yeah. Okay. Please.
Okay. Because I am getting the full screen here. That's why.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So the research libraries, research and open science support systems that are really needed at these times, and then the kind of academic supports, and so the research support and academic support that we do, and additional to what are things what we can do, and then the interlocking channels of robust systems and services, and then the focus areas for 21st century, in which the maker spaces and the digital scholarship centers and all these things I am proposing. So this is my submission to the librarians. I know it is not all that easy to to bring in all these things in our existing systems. It requires a lot of resources, a lot of management support, a lot of imagining and envisioning and even implementing things. First and foremost, budget can be one of the major barriers. So all these things are in mind, but then there is no problem in conceptualizing. So that doesn't require any financial input. So that's what I'm trying to do. If I can inspire at least a few, handful of librarians, I will have. So the objective is actually the same. What is actually designing a sustainably agile, resilient, robust library information and innovation system. So as Sir was again mentioning, like libraries have to change their roles, otherwise they are obsolete or they are irrelevant, insignificant. So in order to be relevant and significant, you need to redefine and re-engineer and reimagine. So that's what. So the idea is to make the library the hub of knowledge consumption. Of course, that is the primary role of a library. It is the hub of knowledge consumption. People come to the library for knowledge consumption. Collaboration. This is something which was not there earlier, but it is very much in the increase. So collaboration and creativity, frontline research support, a center for frontline research support, a place where it is displaying and demonstrating state-of-art technology, a center for imagination and innovation, nurturing the culture of entrepreneurship, ventures, incubators, and startups. I mean, this is actually an overarching concept. It is not all that easy to be articulated to management, because they said that this fellow has gone off his senses because he is talking so many things which is not relevant to his domain. So, but libraries cannot be business as usual, if I can tell you in simple terms. So we have to, conceive and deliver new things if you want to be relevant and significant, so that people will look upon you for some help. So let me see what are the characteristics of a world-class university. What are the alignment factors of key factors which will give us it will take us to a world-class university. It is the superior results of, it is the highly sought graduates, leading edge research and dynamic technology transfer. These are the things. So let me tell you, this has come in it was published in a book by, Philip Altbach and Jamil Salmi way back in 2007, The Road to Academic Excellence. It was published by World Bank. Maybe it's very interesting why World Bank is publishing it, because World Bank funds a lot of developing countries, and only through education they can come up. So they give a lot of priority to these beneficiary countries for doing a lot of educational reforms and activities. So naturally, they will also give a lot of inputs. So the three factors, key factors, is one is concentration of talent, and then the second one is abundant resources, and the third one is favorable governance. I mean, all these sub factors are once you have concentration of talent, the students will be talented, the faculty will be talented. I mean, researchers are there, there is international presence and all these things, and that will be reflected in your graduates, in your products, research output. And then once you have a lot of interesting research output, that will be a natural outcome that the technology transfer will be there, and you will bring in a lot of revenue also by virtue of your technology transfer and the research output. And all these things will uplift the university to a world-class university. Now, what is looking at the world university rankings of the Times Higher Education 2020? Teaching, they are giving 30% weightage. Let us see the weightage. Teaching is taking 30%, but interestingly, research is taking 60%. Research in terms of the numbers, and research in terms of its influence. Its influence means this kind of citations, and then the kind of conferences they get. Each research piece gets into other research. So naturally, 60% is grabbed by research, and then around 10% is for international outlook and industry income. So that's it, 100% as well. Teaching is only 30%. But then we have to see on the ground what is actually happening. So that is something which we have to see in our universities, how much we are allocating or devoting for teaching, how much for research. Because we used to have a lot of teacher interaction, teacher development courses, and a lot of teachers used to come. I used to also give them some kind of inputs, and I used to ask, what do you do? What is your scorecard? What are the things you do for your profession, because you're teachers? And they say we teach. Then we also teach, and then we do some little bit of committee works and other things. So those things that are administrations, what is called academic administrative. But otherwise, they are not because they don't have time. You cannot blame them. They don't have time. They are given with maybe 3, 4, 5 such courses, and they don't have time. So, but that cannot be an excuse. If you look at international universities, you cannot say that you are teaching for that reason you cannot do research. Why do we do research? That's the first question. Why should we give so much of importance for research? Because only research can reveal or bring up newer ideas, newer knowledge, etc., so that the students can very well take some new knowledge to the industry. That is what I am coming to next. So I am presenting this particular topic, that is conceptualizing and designing world-class universities or world-class libraries, in 3 contexts. One is the COVID context. So COVID, we know the post-COVID world is no longer going to be like the pre-COVID world. There is a huge shakeup in terms of our livelihood, our profession, how we have to be entrepreneurial, how we have to be closer to the nature, how many industries and professions have been badly affected, how many are winning. Most of them are digital such businesses, and those kinds of things. And of course, there are interesting non-digital professions which are thriving even in the pandemic. So I think it is a wake-up call for all of us, how libraries can get. The next one is actually the NEP. The NEP 2020 is just released a month ago. So what is that we have to look for? What is the libraries have to look into NEP? Interestingly, there is no much of reference about it. Not even a single a chapter for libraries. There is not even a significant couple of paragraphs in this. Libraries are actually mentioned as sentences within sentences or paragraphs, and like that. So sort of identity is under question as far as the new education policy is concerned. But they say a lot about digital, collection, e-books and all, so many things, e-resources and so many things in various, parts of the policy. But there is no specific allocation of libraries as a strong, indispensable academic support system. So that's actually an identity issue for the libraries, librarians in particular. To what extent we have been able to influence these policy makers. There is no argument with the architects of this education policy, especially to Dr. Kasturi Rangan or his team, because these people are doyens in the field, in their own field and in the field of education, and they know what it is. But they may be having a feel that whatever is necessary, we have documented and we have informed, we have put it in the document. The rest is up to the respective professions to come up and deliver. Maybe that's the thing which they are expecting the librarians and libraries to come up and perform. The third context is Industry 4.0. Very simple. We have been traveling from water power to electric power to what is called the electronic power to now the cyber world we are. And we are talking about AI, machine learning, deep learning, Internet of Things, and many things. So the demand is career 4.0. See, if you look at this particular small picture here, it's a very interesting thing. It's actually a Toyota car manufacturing unit in anywhere, maybe in Tokyo or maybe in India or maybe in Brazil. But interestingly, each car is being manufactured by a handful of robots. Not even a single man is seen here. I cannot see. So this is more than 1,000 words. It's very clear that you don't require any human being to be there in the in the manufacturing scene, whereas all these robots are controlled by human beings only. So there is a shift that is taking place. This can take place in libraries also. This can take place in every profession also. Every profession, because medicine is not an exemption, education is not an exemption, productivity or production centers are not an exemption. So these kinds of technologies are very much, coming into every profession, every activity of life. To what extent education 4.0 has to change, and to what extent libraries will have to catch up to this education 4.0 is something that we have to. So I would like to, quote Einstein here. He says that I never teach my pupils, I only attempt to provide the conditions in which they can learn. I think this is a evergreen, phrase. Because for libraries, this can be one of the, interesting phrases where libraries can provide every condition in which they can learn. They don't have to be taught, literally what they should know, what they should do. Because when you spoon feed them, and the moment they go out of their class and course and the school and college, they don't know what to do, because they always have to have the luxury of the faculty, the academic support, even the library for that. But then when they are driven out of the system, they long for, they have a feel that I should have done something more so that I am now able to stand on myself. So the academic resources, if you look at little in detail, it comprises of human resources that we have seen of the kinds, and then the ICT infrastructure. I don't have to go into the depth of all these things. The information infrastructure, which is our domain that we are now looking at, and then in the practice labs, the innovation and the practice labs. So I think now, earlier we were only looking at these things, only this, but now I think it is time for us to look at all these things with an open mind. To what extent we can, bring in those into the library is something that that can address some of the major pressing problems like footfall issue, library usage issue, etc. ICT systems strategy is a very overarching, concept, but that systems and strategy has got a commendable role to play in the library's overall functioning. So the librarian should be having, as Sreekumar sir was saying, the landscapes are changing. Okay, so when the landscapes are changing, it's your duty or your responsibility to know how we can catch up with the change of landscapes. It's not that the libraries or the publishing landscape is only changing. It is, everything is changing because of, as again sir was mentioning, the disruptive technology is invading into every walk of life. So here I am trying to tell you the best strategy or one of the advocated strategies that we can think of. Here we can see the massive, library interior, decked up with huge stacks of books, etc. On the middle, you can see the zeros and ones, which represents the digital knowledge, the digital information, which is meticulously blended with the traditional system. I think this is something which we should attempt and envisage. So the world of libraries have been changing. When you look at the world of libraries, the physical ambience has been its signature characteristics and its collections and its facilities and its services and the administrations, and it was evolving. It is still under evolution. So from collections to services to pinpointed activities like workshops, etc. David Peskovitz is a very interesting person. He said it's likely in the coming decades that society's traditional understanding of the library will get completely upended. In 50 years' time, libraries are poised to become all-in-one spaces for learning, consuming, sharing, creating, and experiencing. It's a very interesting, concept. And then we need to understand what function they currently serve. At their core, libraries in the information age provide a public means of accessing knowledge. That's what people pay. So the hallmark of future libraries will be hyperconnectivity. They will they will reflect our increasing reliance on social media, streaming content, and open source data. This is even this was conceived, or he was writing this in 2016. He is the director of the Institute for the Future, based in New York, I believe, but in the US. Now, if you look at the trends in libraries, generally we see that the collections are going more or less virtual. I may be wrong and I say it's totally virtual. It cannot be totally virtual. Yeah, I will always say it will be a hybrid, some physical and then more on virtual side. So the individual focus is going to community focus. That is something which I think we have to take a note of. And then the collection library is going to be creation library. Okay, you have already told that. And then the library as a portal, which is everything for everyone, is now trying to be specializing, on the niches of this interest. So the big questions which I would like to submit before this audience is that, what's the future of knowledge? What's the future of pathways to knowledge? And then what's the future of public technology and community anchored institutions like libraries? And then what's the future of learning spaces? And what's the future of attention? That is actually the most difficult challenge that not only librarians are facing, libraries are facing, the whole of education is facing, because future attention span is so much coming down. Everybody is interested in looking at this, these kinds of gadgets, and it is a fragmented sort of learning that is so much taking. So how do we address all these things? These are very, very interesting. And then coming to the mission statement, which I would like to see for libraries, is that I think we should advance knowledge through research and innovation. I think all of us should. And then we should also guide learning as libraries itself. And then the third one is that we should inspire curiosity. So this is not that easy concept. This is not that easy for libraries too. So how do we inspire curiosity? So I will leave it to the imagination of our experiment. The mission should be advanced knowledge through research and ambient. It should be an ambience for learning, collaboration, and creativity. Library should be the core of. I think somebody's mic is So library should be at the core of educational activities, a place to collaborate and the hub of co-create knowledge. So what I'm trying to say here is that libraries now, in addition to providing a space for coming and learning, they should also promote collaboration of collaboration facilities, community learning facilities. People, 4 or 5 groups should be able to collaborate and create or co-create knowledge, and they should be able to do that, and such facilities should be. And then a place to nurture lifelong learning skills. This cannot be all that easy to be, it is very easy to be told, but I think librarians will have to do some subtle sort of skill, trainings on this, or some kind of inputs on this we have to see. And then envision collections and services and spaces and operations in and operate in hopes they inspire new thinking and continued dialogue. Libraries can provide an incubation center or an entrepreneurship cell, and it should be a place to demonstrate state-of-the-art technology. And it's not all that difficult. Whatever thing you can bring, for example, a maker space or a 3D printer or a new interesting device which you like to showcase. I think it should be displayed, and it should be given some kind of a visibility. And it should be the repository of institutional knowledge also. We are doing those things. So we should deliberately deliver a superior user experience, drive student engagement, preserve knowledge, and increase operational efficiency. I mean, these are very, because from the traditional point of the librarianship, these are all something out of the box, not easy, because we have not been traditionally trained for this. But I think we'll have to acquire those skills, and we may have to attend such courses that will empower us and enable us to do those things. So that users enjoy the symphony of the traditional as well as this, technology and services choreographed by the library, channelized by the library. So again, these are the earlier thing only told in a new way, like it should be welcoming and inspiring, redefining. We need to redefine the place and space, seamless access to knowledge. It should provide, because libraries are known for its serendipity and then the ability to provide such situations where people come and see a book and then they are excited. And so if there is no books available, only e-books available, then they have to go by the new way of selecting and navigating and discovering. So this is something which I think a small corner should be devoted so that books are there for newly published books, frequently issued books and like that, or today's return sex lab, and then collaborative learning spaces, self-explanatory, and learning hubs and learning gardens, idea exchange space, vast corpus of knowledge collections and researchers, library support, etc. I have already digital scholarship and library literary skills and research support workshops, research data support, research productivity impact support, innovation labs, incubators, entrepreneurship, maker spaces, multi-user for spaces and services. So there are so many things that we can think of introducing. We'll come to this if time permits. Vijaykumar sir, you tell me how much time I have now. Vijaykumar sir.
You can go up to 7:15. Okay,
so I'll have to run through. Because I started around 6:20-25, so that's fine.
Okay. When I say 7:15, some bonus points are there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So libraries use a lot of strategies, systems, and services in its endeavors to, impart, create, and preserve knowledge as part of its mother institution, university, college. But libraries, systems, and services, what is advocated is a hybrid model. And it should be the center of research, teaching, publishing, and a center for disruptive innovation, a center for disruptive innovation. And then libraries follows a lot of workflows and systems for collection development and collection management. It also provides a lot of interfaces and relationships for seamless access to and retrieval for data discovery and delivery. And then these can be the workflows and systems can be broadly thought as business processes. And then the second one, this third one, interfaces and relations can be the user experience part. So users will always, evaluate librarians in terms of the kind of interesting interfaces they get for getting into the for collecting their information. So all our algorithms, all our interesting information retrieval, search engines, etc., form part of this. And to what extent we have been able to achieve this? But in the back end, we do a lot of interesting business processes like collection management, all these things, collection aggregation, content aggregation, etc. And then coming to the user experience, we have discovery, your personalization of these discovery services, and then we have such interesting interventions to reuse those discovery sessions, and then of course assessing the kind of quality of the usage and the analytics, so that you can decide whether you are going to continue the subscription of these. Otherwise, if nobody is using it, you may have to discontinue. But libraries also do a lot of research supports as well as academic supports. I'm not going into the depth of all these things. A lot of interesting support sessions can be organized by digital scholarship, authoring support, publishing support, research data management support, impact factor enhancement support, academic support, and then OA, that is open access, open research, open science support, etc. can be provided. The new thing which we are advocating is the innovation center. Libraries also can be a center for innovation. In addition, so that means libraries has been a place only for consuming. Now we are saying that no, you can come and create knowledge here. So we will provide all the facilities and support for that. And then in addition to that, this knowledge, the new knowledge what you have learned in your class, or the knowledge what you have learned in your class, you came to the library and you used our systems to create new knowledge or a new product. Now you can think of monetizing that product. Okay, then you can have maker spaces, you can have recreation spaces, you can have innovation labs, you can have startups. I have seen a lot of libraries are having startup facilities so that they can monetize their findings from the students as well as the faculty. Actually, on the ground, we can even organize a lot of business plan competitions, entrepreneurship meets, venture capital meets, and then startups can get a lot of funding from evangelists and like that. So I think the libraries can be proactive in doing all these things. But to what extent we'll be able to do is something you have to see on the ground. You have to get the management support for all these things. So information management, discovery, delivery strategies. You can have discovery solutions, management solutions, data solutions, campus-based mobile solutions. All can be in cloud, all can be on the on your servers, etc. But basically, the three things which I would like you to concentrate with: how do you manage the resources? How do you manage the discovery and delivery? And also, how do you facilitate? How do you finally, bring the resources, the kind of interfaces, mobility of these interfaces? So mobile-based services will be mostly appreciated. So to what extent our systems are available on mobile, or mobility of data retrieval systems is something which I think parts of our mandate, upcoming mandates are here. So the new resource will be that at the granular level we need to dive deep and come to the documents and information into the data. As we have seen that the devil is in the detail, we used to hear. Now we will say the devil is in the data. So if you can, have control on the data, I think it's all about data management, data science. And then it is people management, space management, center for creativity, all these things. So it's a knowledge hub, it's a research hub, it's a technology hub, it's an entrepreneurs hub. So I think digital transformation, we don't have to, mention too much because of want of time. But I think just for telling, what are the basic things? Prerequisites are capacity building and upskilling, etc. Automating, transforming, personalizing knowledge. That is what is digital transformation. What do you mean by automating the library collection? I mean, automating and transforming information processing, indexing, meaningful multiple browsing and relevant data, guides and navigation facilities, search facilities, remote access facilities, single sign-on facilities. Wherever possible, try to use open source softwares. And e-resources are the building blocks of the new library system. So I don't have to tell you the importance of select, acquire, describe, curate. So you are right. Description of these resources, that is metadata provision, etc., makes a lot of difference. So the digital collections on sites are very much coming down. It is all online. It's all cloud-based services nowadays. Nobody is giving collections on site now. Earlier there was a time we used to get a lot of CDs, DVDs, and nowadays no, everything is cloud-based. So in the new context, what are the criticalities or nitty-gritties of subscriptions and licensing, content subscriptions and licensing and copyright thing is very, very important for library. So when you think about e-resources, we have to know all the tricks of the trade, like acquiring, providing access, anyway, evaluating, etc. So I don't think these things are information access strategy. There was a time that we felt that it has to be componentized systems. Now there is another school of thought saying that it should be a single system, unified data and unified workflows, etc. So these are things which we can keep on debating. As I was saying, we can keep on debating for hours together, days together. But I think librarians' major strategy role is actually content aggregation and smart. Because things are scattered, distributed, things are coming from hundreds, thousands of different resources. So the major advantage or the signature capacity or capability of a librarian will be about this smartness in content aggregation and smart integration. So you can do whatever you can think about, whether it is information, knowledge, guides, navigation interfaces, display tools, depth of metadata quality, search algorithms, need for catching up with technology trends. So it's a symbiotic assemblage and systematic provision of online content, user-friendly services, technology, high-speed networks, technical supports, digital training, etc. So that it helps the users fully benefit, participate in the teaching, learning, and research. So actually, these are the three things which are happening in the university system: teaching, learning, and research. These are the three things. But to what extent you are able to, provide support for all these three things is very important. Because as I am a student, I am coming for learning. As a teacher or a researcher, I am coming for teaching and research. So to what extent I can rely on my libraries? So this is self-explanatory kind of a small picture. So the library outreach, any user or users or a group of users, they are seamlessly accessing the resources from the library system. It can be content management systems, learning management systems, because nowadays almost all the classes are going online, right? Almost all the classes are going online. So naturally, they have to have a facility for seamlessly integrating or getting their hands in the library and the content management system and the learning management system, whether it is Moodle or Blackboard or whatever it is. And then the library should be always accessible 24 hours. Earlier, we were working only 8 hours. Now we are working almost 24 hours. All can come at 10 o'clock from the director or the faculty or the student. Sreekumar, this is not working. That's all they will say. So my meeting starts then and I have to run around, or my colleague receiving the phone call will be running around, and then we see that things are running. Because nowadays, earlier we had a campus having 100 acres, about 12 classrooms, about 1,200 students. But now the classroom is the whole country, pan-India, or maybe pan-world. Anybody sitting anywhere can ask questions. And their demands are ever rising, ever increasing, and uncompromising. If they don't have it, if they fail, the librarian is held responsible. If the class is not happening at that time because of the non-availability of a simulation or a case study or a video which is being beamed or streamed from an international site, but for no fault of the librarian, it is not working, he is answerable. He is answerable. So his job is in stake. I have to be very seriously saying, and this is the case with almost all librarians who are working in central, higher institutions of higher learning. So digital libraries part, I don't have to tell because digital libraries encompass or try to put together as a single entity under a single umbrella all these resources, books and its, indexes, ebooks, e-journals, and the other e-resources. And it comes with a number of interesting, information discovery services like online catalogs, subject indexes, guides, federator or discovery services, or we can think of, ontology-based or concept-based, kind of search algorithms. So it is. So I will go with David Lang's, but some of the librarians don't, or professors in library science, they don't like this space. They say that this person is not in good sense. That's why he's saying bad libraries, good libraries. But then I find that there is a very interesting message in this. Bad libraries build collections. Good libraries will build not only collection but also services. But great libraries build all these three. All the two, building collections and services, also communities. I think our aim should be to build a lot of collections and services and interesting communities, very active communities. Then the libraries have made success. That's what I mean. Research libraries, research support is a very interesting thing. The Association of Research Libraries, US, has come out with a very interesting, framework for research support in research libraries. So, in terms of research and scholarly life cycle, in terms of teaching, learning, and student success, collections, and physical space. So, what kind of how does the library help increase research productivity to facilitate innovative research, creative thinking, and problem solving, to be an inclusive learning environment. Libraries, collections, physical support, promote teaching, learning, and research, and its role in attracting and retaining top researchers and faculty to the institution. To what extent libraries facilitating? That is the question, and it is addressing in a very proactive way. So I think ARL's framework is something which all of us should be looking at. And then open access, I don't have to tell much about this, but there are two major arms. One is the golden arm, that is here. The golden arm is at source. It becomes an open access journal. You are publishing your articles in a journal, so that open access journal, so that the article is available forever, openly accessible. And then otherwise, if you cannot, you have the opportunity to publish it in an archive of your, that is called the Green Road. So open access provides a lot of interesting opportunities for researchers, for teachers, for students, for the public, the common man, because the common man get access to the publicly funded research outputs. So I think open access is something which we should have. In India also, the OIA policy was conceptually adopted in 2014 by DBT, DST, and DST is coming up with interesting proposition of one country, one subscription model. Let us see to what extent we come out. Achieve success in that. Open knowledge is there, so open access, open source, open courses, open scholarship, open research, open data, open innovations, open textbooks, and open educational resources. I think all together is a vast corpus of knowledge. And I think librarians should be knowing all these things so that we can channelize those things to the library, to the users, according to them. And then open science. So because of time, I'm not going into the details. In open research, you can see that at every phase of their research, every stage of their research, the libraries can provide interesting support, help. I think that we should do. And then open research cycle, and the open access and the open science is going to playing together. The symphony you can see here, and it is all going for the benefit of the institution, not only the institution but the country also. So I think open science and open research will have a lot of interesting place in the future, in the days to come. Digital scholarship and research support workshops, a lot of research support workshops and research scholarship promotions libraries can do. Because of time, I am not going into the depth of these things. But if you have any questions on this, I'll be very happy to answer, or I will try my best. If I don't know, I will get back to you with answers. So whatever I have been telling, all these things we can, because libraries will have to do, walk that extra mile if you want to gain respect from the stakeholders, by the users, by the teachers, by the researchers, by the public at large. And curriculum support and academic support we should provide, and we should integrate all these resources with the LMS, the learning management system, with interesting state-of-the-art technology, all these things, and then the reading list of what we can give resource access to LMS or the content management system. So putting all this together, thanks for your patient listening. Putting all these things together, I would like to present the 10 focus areas for the 21st century research libraries. And the first and foremost is the collections. Collections are the backbones of a library. It is not only in terms of electronic and digital collections, but representative print collection, and then information access, delivery, and discovery and delivery in the best possible manner, using the latest state-of-the-art bleeding edge technology, not even cutting edge technology. It should be at the bleeding edge technology. And then the spaces. Library as a place is no longer valid or relevant. Library as a space where they can come and explore their curiosity and enhance their knowledge creation ability. In addition to consumption, is something very important. A library should enable research. Library should enable teaching and learning. Research data management, libraries can do a lot of things. Digitization is something which is very, very important, because digitization means it's an overarching concept again. It can facilitate a lot of digitization projects, and you can have a lot of displays and exhibition facilities. So that means every library will have to allocate a space for some kind of a heritage collection of the institution, heritage collection of the locality, of the region, or anything of that sort. We can think of, you can identify an area where you have a lot of interesting collections, which can be on a negotiation or a bilateral arrangement bring to or brought to the institution and digitized, and it would be a win-win situation, because they may not be having to. So there are interesting funding, granting agencies which can come. Maybe the cultural department, Department of Culture, Department of Science and Technology, for that matter, any other department which has got interesting, education also can do that. So I think digitization is an interesting concept we have to embrace, and then digital scholarship, as was mentioning, as Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. A Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. We have already discussed all this. And most interestingly, people should be empowered. There is no point in always being with a user saying that this is how you have to do it. You have to first orient them and leave them, and then let them do it themselves. I think self-service is actually a thing which a library should enable, empower, and I think this is what the 10 things which I am recommending for the 21st century research libraries to attempt, experiment, and deliver. Thank you so much. And then the principal interlocking channels of libraries, robust library systems and services would be seamless aggregation, integration of digital objects, metadata, indexes, and search algorithms, which I was mentioning, supplemented with information, knowledge layers, navigation interfaces, discovery tools and services, and then with the help of ILMS, OPAC, CRMS. I'm sorry for being using these short forms. But that is integrated library management system, online public access catalog, electronic resource management system, A to Z list, subject guides, digital libraries, institutional repositories, web skill discovery services, and supported by highly enabled cutting edge software solutions. Most probably, if at all, I mean, wherever possible, open source solution. So it should be gadget neutral, platform neutral, it should be format compatible and interoperable. I think if this can be the overall architecture, I think it will be a great idea to have. It will be a great opportunity to design, conceptualize, and design a world-class university library or a world-class 20th century library. Thank you very much, Vijaykumar sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You are up to the time. I said 7:15, but you have exactly stopped at 7:15.
That's right.
Yeah.
You will customize.
Yeah, that's true. But I am sorry that you have to cut through many of your things. As usual, your slides were, packed with information, and this is what I have seen so far. Each slide can be explained in 1 hour or at least half an hour.
But that is not possible now.
Yeah.
But I will welcome questions. I can see all my gurus and
yes.
teachers here. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now it is time for questions, and my friend Mr. Sadashivan is there. And thank you for your esteemed presence. And it is up to you.
Sadashiv sir, you are on mute, huh? You are on mute, sir.
Yeah, it's please unmute it.
Sir, you have to unmute yourself.
He's still on mute, alle?
Still mute.
Sir will unmute, but meanwhile we will look. Gopikutan sir is here.
Okay.
Kuvaran sir is there.
Now, while you were talking, I was just thinking, you are going to an institution where 100 crores are earmarked for the development of the university, or it can go up to 1,500 crores.
Yeah.
And today I read in the newspaper that for a new university, only 2 crores are allocated by government of Kerala, that is Srinarayana Guru Open University. And even for spending it, an administrator was appointed in the absence of the finance officer, and an administrator was appointed by the government of Kerala just to cut short the amount spent by the university. This is the scenario prevailing in our country. Now, Mr. Sadashivan is there, and he has unmuted, and please come up.
Sir.
Okay, I just, Dr. Sreekumar, you have made a wonderful presentation with the myriads of complex information packed in a short time. Well, you are mentioning about the fragmented sort of learning. Let me take the cue of that. Now, let me go back to the good old days of browsing in the shelves, followed by doing searches in single databases.
Right.
That was followed by doing searches in multiple databases.
Right.
Now, the situation is so complex that I have an apprehension that you are missing critical links in certain situations. Like, for example, agencies like Gartner, who are claiming that they are able to provide what is needed in any given situation. Well, from a host of focal points, combining them and providing what is needed. In that process, I doubt whether we are missing certain critical links. Then take the next scenario is, we are getting so unexpectedly or maybe discovering new links so unexpectedly, maybe through a social media channel. Now, both these, when we put together, the elusive data or information on one side and the enriching data or information on the other. The ultimate effect is that, unlike in the past, you don't get a comprehensive set of data on a given problem. Instead, you are getting a set of that somehow or other from some source or the other. You are working on that, or maybe you are using that. So that exhaustivity is missing. How does it affect the systematic research? This is my query.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. To answer your first question, the Gartner reports versus the actual reality, what is happening. So what is happening in Gartner reports is actually, there are such agencies who bring out digested information. But then the actual researcher cannot 100% rely on these kinds of digests or these kinds of reports. Whether it is a country report also. So there actually what IIMs, IIT sort of institutions or even universities sort of institutions should be doing, should be telling our students and researchers is to look at the actual data also. In addition to reading those, digest reports. Digest reports can be a small, hand-holding, introducing, effectively they will be doing. I think it is all about how you educate our students and researchers to differentiate between these kinds of reports, digested reports, as well as actual data-based research. So there actually the role or the importance of actual data-based research is again getting prominent. There's no doubt about it. And then you were telling about the social media influencer. Social media has got two interesting, maybe 2, 3. One is the views represented or registered by the, the social media or the participants of the social media can have an influence. But it is also, social media can also, some of the participants can also bring in original information. It can lead it to knowledge also. So the views can be leading to influences, whether it is good or bad, and the actual original knowledge or information brought in by some of the participants of the knowledge, social media can bring in knowledge also, or it can value add in that respect also. But social media cannot be, ignored also, because social media is actually a microcosm of what we are seeing in the, larger social, fabric. So we need to pay attention. But at the same time, I will say we need not give undue attention to or importance to social media. I don't know to what extent I understood the question and I answered the question. Because if the original reader or the user is always looking at these reports or these digests and the social media, then he is distracted and he is diverted. He is not looking at the knowledge or the information resource. What is actually being provided by the library.
Well, I am following all these practices, but still the fundamental doubt still remains that there's a feeling that you are not working on the basis of an exhaustive set of data. This is my
That is what I am telling. You should, ideally, you should rely on the actual data. You do the research and you come out with the results and deciphering and or the results, and then you compare with the digested report, which is Gartner report or any other report.
But the fact is that the end user is not prepared to wait for an exhaustive set of data. Instead, whatever is in hand, they go ahead with the research program, exploratory study. So that is where this apprehension still holds good, that maybe with all these facilities that we are having, we are working on the basis of a fragmented set of data. I don't know, Professor Korean Isaac can perhaps throw light on that, since he's in the area of academic and research.
Yeah, so actually, if you look at how people collect information when you want to understand a particular new topic, the current trend is to immediately go to Google or Wikipedia and or Google Scholar and resources like that to see whether you can get things in a very compact short form. Now there are many resources which are fragmented, but there are some resources which, although they are fragmented, they also provide links to the other aspects of knowledge which need to be gathered to get a more exhaustive understanding of an area. So one example is Wikipedia. In Wikipedia also, if you look at one article, it is a fragmented short article. The quality of the article often is very good, even better than the Britannica corresponding article. But they also now provide links to related knowledge, related information, so that you can go to that also. But whatever it is still, to my mind, very different from reading one good book. A good book brings a lot more of philosophy and perspective with it, in addition to just the information, which is very, very important. So I really don't know whether there is a straight one answer to what Sadashivan sir asked. I think the whole world is changing so fast, particularly with regard to information, how it is formatted and how it is available, and from where you can avail it. And library science being in the middle of that, I think is one profession which has to really reinvent itself. And it takes a lot of effort to do that, and a lot of innovative people to come up and do it. Only I think one thing which librarians should definitely do is to keep abreast of the moving times, the changing things, so that they will see opportunities and challenges. And these opportunities and challenges become part of librarianship as we go along. And it's very difficult to really predict what it will be. What Dr. M.G. Sreekumar presented is an excellent survey of, what are things now and what are some of the possibilities. But the possibilities are something even now we cannot really say for certain are going to be there. And we have to really move with the times. And it may take another 50, 100 years before things get consolidated and things take different forms. So I think we are in the middle of very exciting and tough times, and particularly for librarianship. I would like to just mention a couple of things which perhaps, is an opportunity, maybe an opportunity may have been already addressed. See, many people who are experts in one area want to start understanding another area. So an example is a mathematician trying to understand biology, or an engineer trying to understand law. What I typically do is I search Google or Wikipedia, try to get a gist of what the thing is, and then I try to go deeper and deeper. But very often there may be one book or two books which actually is very appropriate for a mathematician to turn to biology, which will not come up if I search in Google. I feel if librarians haven't already addressed this, the interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary shifts that people would like to do, if we can make that easy in some way, that is one very important service which will be needed now. And the other thing is what Dr. M.G. Sreekumar said, that each library has to become a repository of not just knowledge, but a lot more other things. And what these other things are, I can only guess at a few, but I think it will keep on changing as things change. And you will have to keep abreast of that change and bring in these changes into libraries. So, that is broadly what I can say.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kurian. And here is a question to Dr. Sreekumar in the chat column. Question is from Prasad BS. Sir, have you come across any library in India in the edge of transforming to become the 21st century library? Have you come across any library in India in the edge of transforming to become a 21st century library?
Yeah, the question is very interesting, and I was expecting this question also to some extent.
Okay. Okay.
To be frank, I have not come across any library. All these items, these are just 10 items what I wrote. But I will tell you, there are good libraries which have got at least a critical mass of services. What I have suggested or. An example can be recently IIM Ahmedabad, maybe in 2018-19 they have re-engineered and revamped the library. The new library is actually a classy example of an assemblage of a place where technology is very much shaping up. You can see even virtual reality in place there. You can see the digital scholarship center there. You can see makerspace there. You can see research supports, research data management, all these things playing around there. Not only there, you can see Indian Institute of Science Library. Indian Institute of Science Library, recently, I had a chat with the librarian, Dr. Anand Bhairappa. He was mentioning that he is chief librarian and chief of data. He is not only librarian, chief of data. So then I was very curious to know what do you mean by that? When you are librarian, lot of data what you accumulate or you subscribe, naturally you are the chief of that data. And he said that's not what it is. It is the chief of the institutional scholarly data. So the institutions are now scaling up or waking up, and then they are giving interesting roles to libraries. So whatever focus areas I have projected, they are only full of areas. They are not exhaustive. They are just a handful of areas. They are only representative. What I suggest is you as librarians, especially my submission to Mr. Prasad, is that we as librarians, as Dr. Kurian was mentioning, as all our learned members are saying, we have to be very proactive. We have to be very, very open to learning. We have to be very open to the user sentiments. If a user is stopping by and saying that, why don't you try this, why don't you help us do this? I think you should pay attention and you should jump into the shoes of the user and see whether something can be done in that context, in that area, so that you can get more, appreciation, not just for publicity or popularity. It is for your own satisfaction. I think these are the things. So the question is understood as I understood. There are libraries in India. IIM Ahmedabad and IISc. I just told IIT Delhi. Then the JNU library, the BITS Pilani library. All these things are excellent libraries. Sorry, you're in IIT Bombay, no?
I was in IIT Bombay. Now I am in IIST Trivandrum.
Okay, so IIST Trivandrum. So these are places where you can see interesting things being experimented and worked out and tried every day. As Kurian sir was mentioning, we cannot be happy, complacent. If you feel that whatever you are taught or whatever you are doing is the last thing that you can, or you are ending up with that, then we are done. Actually, we cannot be happy with that. We can be. I think we have to be an unhappy librarian. All along.
So, for your information, Dr. Sreekumar, Dr. Kurian joined IIST from Bombay IIT.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. IISc librarian Abdul Nasser sir also is there in the MX audience.
Yeah, Abdul Nasser is there. Yeah.
Okay. In fact, I was about to suggest the same thing. Yeah. Thanks.
You were?
Yeah. Nasser, please. You have something to add?
No, I was just telling to Kurian sir, I am very well here.
Yeah. Okay. I was about to ask the same questions because along with the Geo University, which was prematurely adjudged in 2018, 5 more universities were adjudged as institutions of prominence or something like that. One is IISc, you have already mentioned. The second one is IIT Bombay. The third one is IIT Delhi. And the fourth one, BITS Pilani. And the fifth one was Manipal University.
Okay.
So perhaps those libraries may also deserve. Are also worth mentioning.
Yes.
Okay. Any more questions or additions?
Hello, Sreekumar sir.
Yeah.
Sir, Dr.
Hanifa.
Hanifa. Okay.
Sir, very excellent and very informative session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I should thank you for this opportunity.
And congrats and best wishes for your new assignments.
Thank you so much.
As the librarian. And one thing, and most of the participants are from Calicut University, my department.
Okay.
This session. And sir, while your discussion, so it is fascinating that we have a lot of opportunities in data management because we have the skills to manage the data in really in big data, in data sets, and also in data management, especially for the research data management.
Yeah.
So we can see forward for better future. So we can do a lot of things in data management, I think, because we have the skills for managing the data.
Very rightly told, Dr. Hanifa, because research data management is an area which is totally neglected institutionally as well as from the library side. If you look at how data is collected by institutions, they spend a lot of money on that. They employ researchers and faculty and students and even research students. They give them salary or stipend. They spend 5 years or so, at least 4 to 5 years of rigorous research to collect this invaluable data. They write a paper and then they ignore the data. The institution is lost.
Sir, not only sir, not only in RDM, even in the data sets and in big data, we have excellent roles, I think.
Because that's fine. I mean, I'm just looking at a very small part of data. I'm saying the institution which has very carefully or very painfully collected that data is unused after the publication of the paper. So the idea should be that the library should take control of this data and curate it so that for future, if somebody is planning a research in the related area, this can be a very good, they don't have to reinvent the wheels. So I think this is something,
Can I just make one point?
Yeah.
Actually, Geo University is very rich financially. I hope after a few years of contribution by Sreekumar, the university will become richer in the intellectual and scholarly activities too.
Thanks, sir. I feel they have a good vision, and all their mentors and advisors are saying all these things. But I have to see the ground reality, how they are doing all this. But so far, I am very hopeful, as you rightly said. Their commitment and their passion and then their dedication, sincerity, all these are interesting features. As Vijayama sir was mentioning, I was interviewed by an international panel, Caltech, Kaust, the founder president, then the Caltech, MIT, Stanford, Northwestern University. So all these professors are from different departments. Only 1 or 2 people from the library field were there, Dr. Michael Keller and Dr. Tom Kramer from the Stanford University. They are mentoring the library of G University. So I found they are very seriously looking at a person to head the library. So that was one of the reasons why I took it, because at the age of 60, after spending 23 years of service at IIM Kozhikode, I think I am doing a kind of a risk by going to Bombay at this age and during the pandemic, of course. But I thought I will take it as an opportunity to see what is that. Whether they have told something and whether they are very serious in that. I hope they will do that, and if that is the thing, I will be very happy.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sreekumar. There is a comment from Mr. Jasimuddin, a promising librarian. I will just read out the comment for you. I would like to differ regarding the social media alerts coming from learned scholars. in the era of information flood, deluge, these alerts, some of them really does an autopsy of the arguments put forward by the domain experts. The user is definitely getting differing viewpoints on particular aspects from social media alerts. That is just a comment from Mr. Jasimuddin.
I do endorse, sir. I do agree with Jasimuddin. That's what when Rajan sir was saying about the social media's influence, views, etc. I was telling two things. One is that the views can be having its own consequences. Its own, you cannot take it for granted unless you are validating that. But there can be a good information knowledge also coming from an expert who is serious enough or who has got domain knowledge. So you cannot, have a sweeping comment like that. But at the same time, Dr. Jasmine is quite right. There are interesting or there are enough of misleading comments and influences coming from social media. Yes.
Ms. Jasimuddin, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am here.
Yeah. Are you satisfied with
do you agree with me?
Actually, I would like to share an example of this COVID research. In Nature Communications, a paper was published by Christian Anderson, and the argument was the virus was of natural origin and not a lab-driven one. But actually, there were so many differing comments from the same domain expert in that field that gave us a differing opinion of what actually Christian Anderson said in Nature Communication. That we will get differing opinions actually on critical areas. That's what I would like to
that is
share.
Exactly what Dr. Nazimuddin. See, what I am trying to say is these are comments or alerts coming from individuals, and it has got its own bias and views. You cannot take any such comments unless you validate it. So, but the thing that a paper published in Nature should have underwent validation and review processes. So that means that you have to a large extent depend on the published data in the views in Nature, whereas those social media alerts, you have to take it with a pinch of salt. You cannot go by that.
Okay, fine.
Okay, thank you.
Because the society has got all sorts of people. You have people having vested interests. You have people having very upfront and sincere interests, etc. So you have to take it that. I told you, it's a microcosm of the larger society. Any other questions, sir?
There is a comment. It's a question, sir. Question also. Online repositories like Figshare and Zenodo are undertaking the similar service like the one suggested by Sreekumar sir, isn't it?
Maybe.
Online repository, Figshare and Zenodo, that is open repositories. Data depositories, and they are also doing that is they are just depositing the data, but no analysis or anything of that sort. This is what I understand.
Yeah, it's a data repository service they are doing.
Yeah. Just storage of data, something like a cloud service or something like that.
What the comment is that such services are there, then librarians can make use of those services also. It's actually a good pointer. So the institution data, if the librarian is able to grab it, you can go and park it there. There is no problem. If you have a DSpace repository, you can park it there also. In your institution also. So there are various ways. There is a software called CCAN. It is actually an open source software. You can customize and you can install and customize in your institution. You can do that. The idea is we should have that mindset to do it. Once we have a mindset, there will be a number of ways of achieving it.
Okay. The suggestion is from Mr. Ranjit Jose from Kannur University, who has just passed out his postgraduate degree in library science.
Thank you so much.
Seems to be a promising man.
Yeah, very good. I mean, to be able to know all these things itself is a positive thing, no?
Okay. Any more? Anything more? I think it is time to wind up.
Yeah.
And I invite Dr. Sreekumar to offer the vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. Respected Chairman of the session, Dr. Vijayakumar KP, President of Kerala Library Association. Our chief guest today, Dr. M.G. Sreekumar, Chief Librarian and Adjunct Professor IAM Kozhikode. Our Vice President, Dr. M. Lalitha, Professor Isaac's family, Madam Chechama Isaac, and his son, Dr. Kurian Isaac, and KLA members, dear professionals. So we are at the end of this program, that is our prestigious program, Professor K. Isaac Commemoration Lecture. We had this program for, we are organizing this program for the last 15 years. And as a tribute to Professor K. Isaac, KLA has been organizing this prestigious program. So here we show that no COVID can prevent us to organize such a prestigious program of Kerala Library Association. So here we had an eminent personality, eminent library professional, especially in the modern library sector, that is Dr. M.G. Sreekumar with us. He readily accepted our invitation and presented the topic Conceptualizing and Designing 21st Century Libraries in an Efficient Manner here. He touched upon all the areas related to the modern libraries, especially the characteristics of a world-class university, academic resources and IT, changing world of libraries, mission statement and activities, digital libraries, academic supports, etc., etc. In the with respect to the COVID conditions, National Education Policy 2020, etc. So it was a very informative program, talk, and many people, that is more than 90 professionals attended this program all around the world. And as far as KLA is concerned, this is the first program that we organize the Central Committee through this online platform. I extend you, Sir Sreekumar sir, for presenting the topic in a very in an excellent manner, and he clarified all the doubts presented by the participants also. So on behalf of Kerala Library Association, I extend you, sir, our heartfelt thanks. Also the best wishes from Kerala Library Association for your new assignment.
Thank you so much.
Next, okay, sir, thank you. Next, I wish to extend our thanks to the President of Kerala Library Association. I think it is no need to extend our thanks, but on behalf of Kerala Library Association in an official manner, I extend our heartfelt thanks to Dr. K.P. Vijayakumar, who is the backbone of Kerala Library Association and arranging this type of programs. Thank you, sir. Also,
thank you very much.
Our Vice President Dr. M. Lalitha readily accepted and gave a very good welcome speech on behalf of Kerala Library Association. Officially, I extend you our thanks to Dr. M. Lalitha. Also, the members of Professor Isaac's family, that is Madam Chechama Isaac, she readily agreed to present through this online platform for this program, and in time she attended the program. I wish on behalf of Kerala Library Association, I extend a heartfelt thanks to Madam and his son, Professor Dr. Kurian Isaac also. So many eminent teachers as well as eminent library professionals attended this program. On behalf of Kerala Library Association, I extend our heartfelt thanks to all the teachers and eminent library professionals. Also, our thanks to the executive committee members and the members of Kerala Library Association and the students and other library professionals across the world. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sreekumar, and my our wholehearted thanks to Dr. Sreekumar, and we wish you all the best building up.
Thank you so much,
library, or rather a university research library of your own imagination. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay then.
Okay.
Thank you. The meeting is over, or the conclave is over. Thank you.
Thank you.